Okay, I think we'll get started. We have the session recorded anyway, so we'll be sharing that. Um, Ishraq, thank you for accepting our invitation to speak at the Sitecore User Group Egypt. It's a pleasure. You guys already know Ishraq, so and she's very well known in the community, so I want to give her the time to talk about the topic. So I think we'll just jump right in. Shrek, it's all yours.
Sure. Thank you again for inviting me. It's actually the honor of mine to be presenting in user group Jordan. Sorry, Egypt. I keep saying Jordan, but like I'm like really happy that we have another user group beyond the UAE, to be honest, and Jordan, which means like we as a community, at least here in the Middle East and Africa, we're expanding, and this is good what you guys are doing. So kudos to you. And the reason why I've selected actually this topic, I had a discussion with Mustafa actually, and we're talking about doing stuff around personalization. Since everyone is talking about, Sitecore CDB personalized, that's the hot topic. And yeah, we wanted first to take a step back, especially for our audience in this region, and just still talk about XP because it's still a thing. And lots of our clients are still on XP, and even to consider moving into the cloud or into more of SaaS offering. It's still a subject that's yet not been deeply touched. And we have Ahmed as well here, and he knows more about all the ins and outs of all of that. And that's another reason is like we already have you in here, so there is no reason for me to talk about these when we have the expert from Sitecore with us and the user group, and that would be more beneficial if we just like listen more directly from the horse mouth, as they say, right? Yeah, I think you guys already know me. So I'm gonna skip all of that, and I wanted to say like a shout out to two initiatives that we are doing on about Sitecore, especially in Arabic in this region, which is the Sitecore lunch in Arabic. It's on every Sunday, and would love to have more of you guys joining us and talk about everything Sitecore and non-Sitecore, because we talk a lot about prices of oil and stuff like that. So it's not strictly Sitecore. It's more of like a venting session over lunch on a Sunday, but that's our version of it. And Sitecore Arabia, which is a podcast in Arabic that I've been actually recording with Ahmed just before Corona. I'm still like a little bit trying to catch up as well and all of that. So hopefully we have more traction about that. So let's start with with the scope of the session is like, let's put that into what's our business case for today. And I'm actually passionate about this topic because this is one of the biggest projects that I've worked with a client of mine during COVID, and they are more of like a governmental entity that's working with travel and tourism in the UK. And one of the things that we've been doing for them is just to revamp the entire website. So we took that opportunity where everyone's like, no one is traveling actually. So we've put more of that investment and work towards, once everything is back on track, once life is back, what can we do? So one part of that was to revamp the entire Sitecore experience. They were on a non-Sitecore, moving into Sitecore 9 at the time, actually. And we wanted to build a mobile app that can help, anyone visiting that region select, places and events and activities to do. So since it's the nature of that website is content heavy, so we basically wanted to apply personalization on a very large scale. So that meant we had lots and lots of content around cities to visit, around accommodation to go. It's a hotel, whether it's a motel, and these are like actually kind of a content coming from a third-party systems. We had activities to be done. We had travel plans. We had help and advice. We have like a huge amount of content that just like the sheer idea of going into each single page of those and try to apply some sort of personas and profile cards to drive our personalization is like, nah, it's not gonna happen. And the client is like, I'm not gonna invest a penny in having content author going through all of that of pages and build that. Another thing we wanted to do is to make sure we are having a continuous customer journey. And we mean by that is they already have a presence from before, right? And all right, we're changing the look and feel, and no one knows that we're also like changing the underlying infrastructure of the website, but they still are looking for a first time personalization experience because these for them like customers they already know about them, they have subscribed to newsletters from before, they have visited and used the websites for their previous travel, so they want to make sure that okay, we're doing a new kind of stuff, a new website, but we still know who you are and we want to provide you a personalization experience from day one. And obviously like making sure that we integrate with third-party systems, we're bringing over these all the data that we know about them into Sitecore and somehow integrate all of that together. The kind of the marketing activity or the marketing plan that we opted to was the next best action. And again, this is not like the only thing that you can do. It's just like a marketing strategy that we opted to be doing. And the whole idea behind that is that we wanted to elevate our experience beyond, like the normal one, which is I'm providing you the right content at the right time through the right channel, right? We want to make sure that we elevate that a little bit to the next level where we anticipate all of your activities and your behavior on the website based on past history, based on recent interaction, and even based on interests that you showed through other channels. So a very interesting use case that we were looking at is like when they come to our website, we've already identified that some of our visitors are looking into activities around the seaside, right? They're visiting Dublin or Belfast, stuff like that. And they're looking into certain things that's based on their past interaction with our website. But on other social media, on other accounts, they have been showing interest in a mountain climbing sort of activities, and they still yet did not go to our website and show that interest. So we wanted to make sure that we hear you. We already know like you showed interest in other stuff, in other social media or other websites, because again, it's part of a tourism. So they are, especially in the care, they're integrated together and they kind of share that kind of information across. So they wanted to make sure that we reflect that into the website. All right, so the couple of activities that we can do, again, all of these things that are normal things that we do in any kind of a business, right? We register for a newsletter, we could download an ebook, we can add things to a shopping cart, like each kind of an activity ends up with a certain outcome. And we have an actual goal that we want to trigger based on each one of these interactions. And all of that happens, could be an explicit behavior like this. You go to a form, you add a product to a shopping cart. So that's kind of an explicit behavior. And we have the implicit behavior. And this is the one that I'm more interested in, just because, again, we've talked about doing personalization at scale, and we did not want to go into each page and into each type of a page. It's like information about accommodation, information about activities, and add them like register a newsletter or download this brochure about the activities that you want to do, right? We did not want to build our personalization strategy around explicit activities. We wanted to take advantage of all their past history to build that strategy. So as always, first thing that comes to mind, rule-based personalization, and nothing personally against that. I've worked with it for too long, and I don't know, like bad mouth role-based personalization. But like I stopped being a fan for a couple of years now, and mainly just because over time, you get your marketing teams become more and more advanced. They actually understand the business. They understand what they want. They know what to do. But then as they build more and more rules, it becomes very specific and very granular, which make it a little bit hard to maintain. So over time, you go ahead and try to, you know, maintain a page where you've added some offers to it, where you've added some promotions, and you start to do this more and more on a page and level. It becomes a little bit hard to just follow on that, and mainly that's kind of a guessing work, because we're actually relying on our marketers' knowledge with the business and their anticipation of the visitor's intent to build these rules. Because we say, like, if someone is visiting my Dublin page and they're looking into activities around the nightlife and Dublin, then do 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're presuming that kind of knowledge and the intent of these visitors to do all of that. Now, behavioral based personalization, in order to leverage what we have out of the box from Sitecore, which again, if we want to compare this with the new stuff with CDP and personalize, we can see a little bit more enhanced experience, but like we're still within the XP. All right. Within the XP domain, I'm going to focus on doing that. And to be able to do it, the best thing that we've done was to implement these profile cards and these personalization activities on a taxonomy level, because you can have, once you build your profile cards, and might be a little bit quick in this because I know everyone on this call like know these things by heart, but basically once you define your personas, you know exactly who you are interacting with. So in our case, we had some profile cards around accommodation, about adventure, or what we call it, like some of the activities that they can do. They can do cycling, they can do golfing. So we have identified what kind of a visitor is interacting with my website, and we reflected that on our taxonomy. So we know that our content team, when they build their content strategy, they already identified a set of taxonomy that they're gonna tag the website with. So with what we've done, actually, we help them build these personalization or these profile cards on a taxonomy level rather than on a page level. And the leverage that gave us is that by any means they're gonna do and tag each page with that taxonomy. That's an effort that they are doing anyway. So by doing that on a taxonomy level, we were able to just make sure that we're doing that on like a wide scale. We took this a step further and we automated that by using data exchange framework. Again, I have a love-hate relationship with the data exchange framework, and I've worked on it enough to sometimes know that it would work. Not necessarily I know how, but it works sometimes. So what we've done, we had these taxonomy added in an Excel sheet. We've defined, the kind of profile card I'm gonna do the tagging for each one of these taxonomies, what kind of profile key is gonna be assigned for each one of those. And we did not even bother to go to the marketing place and put all of that. We've just asked them to organize all of that within an Excel sheet, and we just did our mapping. These are some codes. Anyone interested, I can share more about that. But the whole idea is about two things. One, we just leverage an automation tool within Sitecore to do all the batch assigning of a profile cards into taxonomy. And the second one, which is the important one, is to override Sitecore functionality to allow us to do that on something other than a page. Because when the XTB tracking, when all of that is being triggered, it's only done on a page type. It won't allow you to do that on any other type of an item. So what we've done, we extended the process item processor that's used to capture that information, And we've checked that if this is also done on a non-beige type, add all of these tracking information. We batched that and we were able to collect all of these information and feed it back to the XTB. So now in our XTB databases, we not only have the interaction with normal pages, we have interaction with taxonomy tagged on these pages, and they're fed into Sitecore. So number one, we're able to track all of these analytics just like normal. We just did this step and everything is left to Sitecore engine to do all of that. Now we have multiple ways to leverage that. You can still work on using curated components to show these like location that they can visit, right? Or accommodation they can do. Content author can create that in the content tree. We've built a couple of components that rely also on performing just a search, and we've injected these tracking information within the search engine. So if I'm going into a page, my profile, my analytics say, I am interested in a location in Dublin that is around the nightlife, I would get you all the pages that are tagged with this type of profile cards, because we've also done that on an item level. So when we created our computed fields and all of that, we're able to leverage that within just a normal search, and we were able to show that back to the visitors. Now, that's doing personalization at scale. Again, we wanted that kind of journey, customer journey, to be continuous. Still want to feed Sitecore more info beyond what we've just tracked in Sitecore, beyond the first visit. So obviously, this is what we get in a normal Sitecore experience profile. What we wanted to do is to also inject data from third parties into these profiles. So now my source of information is not only pure Sitecore interactions, but also data coming back from other third-party systems. So we were working with some big query from Google to get that information and inject it back to the experience profile. And again, this is just like a very simple, a kind of an extended customer profile with that info. Again, I'm not gonna be biased here, but I like more the CDB stuff, how guest profile looks in there. You guys, the code out there to how to build facets and how to extend all of that. But the whole idea is that it's actually possible to go beyond what we have out of the box in Sitecore to build all of these experiences. It's just a matter of, just finding the right location or finding the right pipeline to override and be able to feed this content back into Sitecore. We still could do this because now we have this information from the third-party system and we just tagged it as a next best action. We can do this still as a Sitecore rule, right? We can leverage the content that we have captured from third-party by doing an extra personalization. But also, when we would apply that component that's, showing us recommendation, whether that's curated or coming back from the search, we would also give some attention to the data and the customer profile. And we've took the assumption that every time you have a data, and this is a process that's been updated regularly on a daily basis. So we would have a job somewhere that do all of these things and feed it back. So every time we find information in the experience profile, we would build our personalization and the content coming back through the experience profile to take a priority over Sitecore. And eventually that's going to be fed into your XTB. That data accumulates, and this comes as part of Sitecore out of the box. So yeah.
Ishraq, thank you so much. I'm sorry, I just want to say that the meeting might close in a few minutes. So if that happens, please rejoin the same link. Thank you.
All right, I've skipped things because I thought it's gonna end. So, but anyway, I can rejoin. That's fine. And that's about it. This is our journey with, how to leverage Sidecore out of the box in certain areas, how to enhance it in the XP, just to provide experiences beyond, second page visits for personalization.
Thank you, Ishraq. Great. I'll leave it to Rehab for the questions moderation.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rehab.
The questions, please post your questions on the Slido link. I'm resharing it again now. So we have, several questions. Thank you for posting your questions on Slido. So the first question, how Sidecore personalize is different to Sidecore send and classic Sidecore XP?
What's the difference between Sidecore personalize and send, and how that's different from XP? Yeah, so all of these things, let's say, first one, personalize and send. Personalize is building on your personalization experience. It's a different, like both of them are two different offering. So we have our CDB and personalize suite, right? So that's our new SaaS way of doing marketing nowadays on a SaaS basis. We have the CDB, which is responsible for all our customer data. That's where everything is stored, it's collected, and personalize is using the tools that are needed to do your personalization experience. Now, like Sidecore Send is a total different story. That's the other SaaS offering that's used to, not going to say replace EXM, but it's basically is helping out with doing activities around newsletter registration, for example, sending batch emails, doing email campaigns. So it's a total different kind of an offering now. When we moved into the composable DXP and going into breaking down, instead of Sidecore being a single platform that does everything within the XP domain, right? Because in XP, we have everything. We have Sidecore as a content. We have Sidecore as a marketing tool. We have Sidecore as an email marketing tool. We have Sidecore for automation. We have Sidecore for commerce. Now, when it has been broken within the SaaS world into different products, each one of those is working within its own domain. So it's actually helping customers, especially those who are not interested in having, paying a license for the entire platform and only uses Sidecore as a content, or just using a little bit of the personalization stuff, right? So now having multiple subscription kind of a model for Sidecore, where, okay, now we might be interested in doing some personalization work for the coming couple of months. We can go and obtain our Sidecore personalized to help us build our personalization activities. If we're interested in tracking more of the data, not necessarily we're interested to do any of the personalization, but we want to be able to maintain that data as a first owner, or a first entity. From a governance perspective, you go and get your CDB. If you're interested in email marketing, again, you go with Sidecore Send. You leverage that for a newsletter subscription, for sending batch emails. I'm no longer interested with that. You stop your subscription. So all of them, gives you the benefit in a way different than what we are using with XP. Everything has its own, pros and cons. We're still learning about all the new SaaS stuff. We're still trying to understand how we can combine all of these different things to come up with a single out of the breed kind of a solution, right, for our clients. I've been hearing a lot about how can we do with XM Cloud as a hot topic, can we do that with Sidecore Personalize, since the personalization capability in XM Cloud will not be available just yet. So I think it's like each one of them comes with its own territory, with its own kind of tools. The experience is also different with Sidecore Personalize. If you want to compare it against the XP, it gives you a lot of capabilities, but it also still have some reference to Sidecore developers to help you build some components and some tools to help you with the personalization, right? There's a section where you can build your scripts, you can build your component actually just like within Sidecore as an editor. on opposed to just like, letting marketers to work through personalization rules and stuff. So hopefully this answered that question.
Thank you. Okay. The next question is, how did you convince the management to put money and invest in personalization and ROI wise?
Right, that's a very excellent question, because I can tell you, I still work with a couple of brands in the US, where like if I'm going to tell them about personalization for the next 100 years, they're not going to be convinced, just simply because their business has nothing to do with the end customer. So I'm working with actually a commerce client or manufacturer, pharmaceutical, and we're only interested with B2B. So personalization will not work. I'm not going to build my marketing strategy around selling to other companies, because they know me. They know that they're needing, they're in need of this product. They come and contact me. So doing that strategy for the B2C did not make any sense. Now, in terms of return of investment and all of that, the XP stuff, the way we've managed to convince them around that, and again, there's multiple approach to that. One, you need to have a management or a kind of a business that actually believe in the power of personalization as one way of bringing you money to your website. Because sometimes if you do not have an ally, at least a single voice, and that team to just say like, yeah, let's give it a try, we don't have any chance in doing it. Our counter way to do that was some development activities we would do just to show them how easy we can build a personalization experience using Sitecore, using just like the out of the box capabilities, and just work heavily on understanding the experience analytics dashboard. Show them how you can identify new channels. One of the nice things that we've covered actually when we're working with that client, the tourism client, is one of the channels that we've noticed in the experience analytics was the screen reader. So that gave us like a whole new idea. I was like, okay, we did not even think about leveraging or building for accessibility just within the minimum. So our website is accessible by design, but we not even tap into that market that, yes, some of the visitors that's going to be coming actually are person with disabilities, right? And we want to make sure that we're providing them that information in a way. So just by saying that some of that information shown in the dashboard, we've built later on that mobile app, just having all of that into account, because they have seen the value of some of the analytics that we're getting in identifying in new channels, identifying in new markets. The location one is also because everyone is visiting the UK. So the approach that we've done that was to have multiple websites like an A and B, because they wanted to make sure that they're providing content to certain markets. So the European market, the American market, and based on their offline information, the MENA region was not kind of a market that they have lots of visitors from, or at least the past data offline from them. And we built it like a B site, so we did not provide it all the information, and we did like a mini site for it. But when they checked the analytics and the country section, they've seen lots of people coming from that region. So that also like shifted their mindset, is like, okay, not necessarily everything that we thought is right based on the traditional channel of collecting that analytics information is accurate. Now we have another way that can prove that this is something that can be done. So these are some of the tactics that we've done. You can keep nagging. I'm one of those that keep nagging also. So sometimes it works.
That's a good, yeah, that's a good tactic, yeah. Okay. How and when automation will work when taxonomy is updated? Okay.
When can you
How
say
and
that
when?
again?
Yeah, how and when automation will work when taxonomy is updated?
So the automation part, we used it just to batch upload to Sitecore. But like automation, when the taxonomy would update, it actually you just update, for example, the profile on the taxonomy. That's all you need to do, like even afterwards. Now the process, the pipeline that we have implemented will work regardless of you've done an update or not. Now you have on that page a new kind of information. Each visit gonna increase the score of the new profile cards assigned to that taxonomy over the last one. And eventually it just clear the old profiles and build on the new ones. But we did not see like when a taxonomy gonna change, we're gonna assign it like from a hotel, it's gonna turn into a motel, right? But it's gonna be including another dimension in terms of a profile card. So this hotel is more into this, they opened a new location. So we would tag it with profile cards related to a location. So the content is still being a build up rather than a clear of past history and trying to rebuild that again. So we did not like invest much on the boss. It's just like automating the initial phase.
So the next question about the integration. So integrating data from other sources or channels. How were you handling the regulations such as the data privacy, GDPR, and CCPA?
Okay, that's also a good question. So by GDPR, because we were operating in the GDPR area, by design, we already have our pages that explicitly would ask you, like the cookies, we made sure that we ask for consent and only track for functional stuff. And we made sure like the SC analytics cookie is explicitly presented and Ben said like, yeah, we're doing a tracking and we need this for it to function. Because otherwise we would not do the opt-in into tracking any of that information. So we did that for all the parts that we've actually customized. We made sure that the cookie actually been given a consent. We have a specific pages where it say opt out of these personalization in multiple places. And we also have it for anonymous users. So we had two type of version that all the tracking information for logged in users and for non-logged in users. So even if you're not logged in user, we had that form with a different kind of a handling, because for logged in users, we created more like profiles. We had an integration with Opta. So we had more kind of information selected and we have a different way, but we had to do that explicitly both in the code and by just providing forms on the site for an explicit messaging of tracking and an explicit form to opt out.
Okay. The next question, if we cannot anticipate user preference for rule-based personalization, how can we anticipate the user journey?
Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just repeating. If we cannot anticipate the user preferences for the rule-based personalization, how can we anticipate the user journey?
Okay, so when we talk about anticipating the rule-based kind of personalization, we're talking about an explicit kind of an interaction, right? We're saying if someone is visiting this country, go do that. And let's assume we failed in all kind of that. That's actually going to reflect directly in your analytics. You will go and you'll see like none of your buttons has been triggered or hit. It's going to show you that these profiles just like did not work. If you even go in the experience profiles, randomly look for anonymous users or whatever and look into their data, it's going to also show you that none of that is working. So you can, it's a continuous refinement process. So you can't say like, I'm going to build and release my personas from day one. I'm going to say like everything is going to work. It's something done on repeat. The other thing, because what we keep saying, the kind of automation that Sitecore gives you sometimes can help you identify new behavior. So we have Sitecore Cortex, for example, right? Or Sitecore AI. These are also other products from Sitecore that can help you extract patterns and get information about behaviors that are not necessarily known for you. You say, my entire rule base suck, did not work whatsoever. Go into machine learning. Sitecore Cortex allows you, right, to using machine learning, extract taxonomy or tags from content, make it available for you as a content author. You can tag your content, you can build new personas and new profiles based on that information. You can leverage also Sitecore AI if you have the right amount of data, if you have the right amount of time, money actually, to invest in that. It also uses Sitecore on algorithms, on engine to help you do personalization suggestion. And these are some of the features that can come in Sitecore using the other products and not necessarily, what we've discussed about rule-based or even behavioral-based.
The next question, I think it's related to the taxonomy as well. Would you please give an example of taxonomy and the rules you use to connect to profile? I think it's
taxonomy and rules to connect to profile. Let me try to find out something. Let's do it in reverse. So this is an experience profile. This is the patterns that we had. So for this profile, for this specific users based on their visits, we had golf, cycling, we have surfing, we have mountain climbing. So all of these are actual profile cards, right? So we have our profile cards, and these are the profile values that we have. What we've done when we tried to map that into our taxonomy, we made sure each one of those, like in our case, because in tourism and this kind of content, we know exactly what we're doing. So we did like a one-to-one mapping. So we had our accommodation as a main section of our taxonomy. We have hotel, resort, whatever our options are. And we did the mapping into a profile card that's called accommodation. And we built all of our profile values and our button cards based on these. So these used to be one-to-one. In certain areas, maybe I don't have an example for this, but we had another matrix where we would assign multiple of these profile cards into taxonomy. So for example, I think maybe in the adventure, like golfing, for example, anyone or any page or content that has been tagged with golf, we most likely tagged it with a location. So all the location where you can find the golf course in Dublin or in Belfast. We tagged it also with accommodation, especially when you have a hotel or resort that also gives you a golf course or a near a golf course to do that. So it not only been like a one-to-one, but also in certain scenarios, we did multiple tagging. So when every time we go and visit a page with a taxonomy, okay, I'm sorry. That's for golf, we would get all the other information for it. Hopefully this answered. Okay, I'm not sharing. My apologies. I'm just talking like I'm sharing. I'm not sharing.
Yeah, I didn't know whether you are sharing something or just, giving an example.
Yeah, anyway, but like,
Yeah.
Hopefully I explained it to the best I can. Like that, I'm not sharing.
It was pretty much clear, without the sharing.
Okay.
So that's it for the questions. We don't have any more questions. So thank you, Ishraq, for answering and the informative, the information that you have provided. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and indeed, a very important topic. And if you are following up on, I'm following some podcasts on customer experience, people talking from different companies or different business branches. I'm interested to know how the market is going. Everyone is talking about how hard or impossible it is becoming to predefine or anticipate or expect how your customer behavior will be exactly, and draw pre-assumed rules for these journeys. We need to be smart. We need to employ AI, as you mentioned. We need to be smart about like how to assign the content pieces to like how our customers and users needs. So this is a big topic, and I personally I think I'll get back to you, Ishraq, on this. I have more like there's not questions, but I need to get more inspirations from you on that topic specifically. Happy to have you today, and happy to have the collaboration between the 3 user groups in MEA going, like UAE, Jordan, and Egypt, and looking forward to more events like these, and having people from Egypt presenting in UAE or in Jordan as well. It's like all this mesh of activities is I see it adding up to the richness of the experience and getting us closer and building something interesting, specifically in that region. And as you say in the beginning, like you said, like having experts from Sitecore on the calls may look like we get something, but actually we just spark it or start it. But the real knowledge and the real science comes from you guys, people who try things first hand with clients, get us the real market problems and the feedback from the market. So this is you are the experts. We learn from you, and you are what keeps Sitecore going. Actually, I say it's not a fluff. I know I work with product people, and without the feedback from the MVPs, a lot of features will not be released. Actually, it's like that's really important being in touch with you. Thank you again. And I guess give us some time to be working and editing this episode, and I'm pushing it to YouTube and other channels. And once that is done, we'll share the links with you, and hopefully we get more like this. And I'll be in touch with you soon for more activities. Definitely. Thank you.
Inshallah, thanks again for the opportunity and for everyone who've joined, and definitely looking forward for more. Thank you, Balaj.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
everyone.
you
Looking
all.
forward for more events. Yeah.
Thank you. Have a great day.